Hey y'all. Hey everybody. Happy Tuesday. Tonight is going to be lesson 2 in Conquer Hiring. So y'all know this week I am really taking my expertise as an HR professional and talking to small business owners about hiring. Okay? I know everybody wants to be a leader. Everybody calls themselves the CEO of their business, whether you have a team or not. So I want to talk about some of the embarrassing lawsuits. I've seen these in my career at big companies. I've seen them at small companies. So I want to talk to small business owners about how you can actually make sure you are not, right? You are not getting sued by your teammates. Okay. Let me pull up my phone so I can pull up the comments so that I can see. So I just got off a call with the Conquer Club. We just did a co-working session, which was so cool. So hey y'all, hey everybody that's tuning in. We just got off a call with the Conquer Club. We just did co-working tonight. So tonight we were just on Zoom for 2 hours getting stuff done. Basically, getting stuff done. Okay. So y'all already know the drill. This screen looks a little foggy. I'm on this other computer I have. Okay. So y'all already know the drill. In the comments, let me know where you're from, what you do. Pop your ish about your business. Doesn't matter if it's 2 people in the room or 200. Tell people who you are. Tell people what you do because you never know who's watching. You never know who's down in the comments. So I know a lot of the business owners where it's just you, this information really doesn't apply, at least not yet. But for you business owners who have already surpassed some of your revenue goals, you're adding a team because you need to scale. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about those embarrassing lawsuits that you can avoid inside of your small business. And again, this is coming from somebody who has a background in human resources, where I've worked with a lot of popular companies. So I want to give some insight to some of the things that you should be thinking about behind the scenes if you're going to call yourself a CEO, if you're going to call yourself a leader, if you're going to have a team. Okay. Just getting 2 VAs overseas and no SOPs, nothing else. This my team. No. You playing with your business and playing with folks' livelihood. Okay, let's build our businesses the right way. So I'm gonna give y'all some really tangible tips. Okay, some stuff that you can do in your business. Okay, so last night we talked about how to find good candidates. So I hope that was helpful to some of you who are considering a virtual assistant, a personal assistant, or even you want to add a social media manager to your team, or you want to add a salesperson to your team and you want to really start to scale. A lot of the people that I talked to in this season, they're definitely past the, 100K is the thing. They're definitely way ahead of the curve of 100K. Most people who are making under 100K in their business are still working solo because they don't have the bandwidth for payroll, which is cool. But this is also why I'm telling people, don't quit your day job. Because your 9 to 5 is a fantastic way for you to be able to cover some of the expenses that are involved in scaling your business. And y'all know my biggest regret with walking away from my traditional 9 to 5 when I was working in HR was that I did not hire before I left. Had I found great people, had a great team before I left, I could have been able to scale much bigger than I did. Okay. All right, I got somebody that's up in the comments. Hi, I'm Cassie, owner of Millionaire Chef. I support families by teaching the family how to cook and garden. I also offer catering. I accept kids as young as 6 years old and adults up to 60. Girl, yes, tap the screen for her. Yes. So we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, and we're on Facebook. So that's somebody from Facebook. So what's up, Cassie? I love that you teach the family how to cook and garden. Girl, can you come to my house? I know how to cook. I don't know how to bake. Yeah, I do not know how to bake. We can do some dressing, some macaroni, some chicken, some yams. I can do all of that. But if you want me to bake a cake afterwards, no, I can't even bake box of brownies. Ask my husband. Lord have mercy. Okay. Okay, so if you're new here, let me know in the comments that you're new so that I can see who you are, no matter what platform you're on. If you're new, let me know in the comments. Just do hashtag new. And of course, if you're catching the replay, I want you to do hashtag replay. Let's get into it. So if you don't know who I am, of course, my name is Deb. My brand is Conquer, where I help women conquer their fear of being seen. I also have an extensive background in HR, so I do some HR consulting also. So yes, just an off from Memphis. Girl, now you know that's my city. Love me some Memphis, hometown. Okay, y'all, let's get into it. So let me know down in the comments. Have you started hiring? Do you already have a team? Or is this something that's on your agenda for 2024? Is this something on your agenda for 2025? These are things that you need to know as a business owner. Because just knowing the right payroll system to get and how to find the right people is still only a small portion of leadership. So let's get into it. How can we start? How can we make sure that we're avoiding lawsuits? That word is so scary. When I was working at HR, I've seen quite a few of them. Okay. So let me tell you the first thing that I think small business owners should do if they want to minimize their risk. First thing I want to let y'all know, this is not no legal advice. This is not legal advice. I ain't no lawyer. I've watched Scandal and I've watched Suits. That's all I got for you. Okay? This is not legal advice. All right. So, first thing, I want you to go to SHRM. If you are a business owner, you're a leader, and you're not familiar with SHRM, I'm about to put you on. SHRM. I want you to go to SHRM and I want you to subscribe to their newsletter. You need to be familiar with local employment laws that are changing. You need to be familiar with wage laws and if they change. You need to be familiar with discrimination laws and if they change. And doing something simple like signing up for the SHRM newsletter is going to keep you in the loop of what's happening in the HR world. Okay. Y'all know I also recommend having you a good old lawyer on standby. Okay. Even if that means you, now in some places, Legal Shield works good. In some places, it doesn't. The office that they assigned me here in Dallas just does not have good reviews, right? But have you somebody on deck, but staying in the loop with SHRM. That don't mean you got to go on their website every 5 minutes, but the newsletter that they send out is helpful. It's going to let you know when there are labor laws changing and what you need to know and what you need to do. As a leader, especially once you start thinking payroll and having a team, you do not want to play around with employment laws, labor laws, and discrimination laws. You just don't. You just don't. Okay. So go to SHRM, SHRM.org. And if somebody can put it in the comments, I would appreciate it so much. Go to SHRM. Okay. And I want you to sign up for their newsletter. You've already hired, you're thinking about hiring, or you even got one person. Okay. Get familiar with the employment laws. Don't be afraid of them. I don't think I don't want to say I could, but law school and all of those things sounds unbelievably overwhelming to me. But employment law is not. And I know a lot of employment law. Okay. Stay up to date on what's going on. It would be crazy for you to say, I didn't know that when there's so much free information on the internet. Okay. Stay up to date on the employment laws, especially the local laws in your area. Okay. So I want to add to that too. There is a big difference in a lot of the information that I'm going to share if you only do contractors. And I think that maybe when I come on tomorrow, what am I talking about? Maybe when I come on tomorrow, I'll talk about the difference between an employee versus a contractor. I think that that's a really good topic because a lot of us hire people off Fiverr on a continuous basis. We hire people off Upwork on a continuous basis. Those are not your employees. Those are not your employees. Okay. Those are contractors. And you do not want to find yourself in a position where you have a contractor off Upwork and you're treating them like an employee. You're going to find yourself in a world of trouble. So I guess tomorrow I'll come on and talk about the differences. You don't get to decide as a business owner, as a leader, as a CEO. You do not get to decide. Um, like there are the laws and qualifications are already preset. What makes somebody a contractor versus making them an employee? If you buy their equipment, set their hours, tell them exactly what to do, and you got them off Fiverr, that's a contractor that you're treating like an employee. Okay? That's risky. It may not feel risky right now because you feel like you're doing what you got to do, but down the line, that can be risky for you. So I guess tomorrow I'm going to add that to my notes. We'll talk about the difference between an employee and a contractor. And again, you do not want to treat your contractors like employees. Okay? You're in big trouble. Get in big trouble. Okay, so first one was getting familiar with employment laws. Again, something as a business owner, you should know the difference. You should be able to tell me the difference between an employee and a contractor. And the reason why is because if you're getting contractors, you need to know where that line is that you can't cross that's going to make them an employee and make them eligible for a W-2. Okay. All right. So, second thing, y'all, I love talking about this so much because I did it for so many years. To minimize risk inside your business. And again, what I said earlier, this ain't no legal advice. Keep discipline consistent. As an HR manager, as an HR business partner, my biggest thing was everything that we do has to be fair and consistent. You can't discipline if Ashley spills a drink on the floor and you don't write her up, but John spills a drink on the floor and you write him up. You need to be able to document why you treated Ashley and John different for the same circumstance. And if you can't, you can be in a world of trouble. Because one person can come back and say, you know, they wrote me up over that. It's because I'm Black. It's because I'm older. It's because of my sexual orientation. And as a business owner, you may say, it was none of that. Prove it. Because when they go file their EEOC claim, the only thing that the legal team gonna want to know is, can you prove it? Where's the documentation? What was the difference? And you can't be like, oh, well, I remember. That don't fly. That don't fly. They gonna see you in court. Keep your disciplinary actions fair and consistent across the board. Once you set a precedence for something, if I spill a drink and I don't get written up, the next 3 people that spill drinks can't get written up either. It has to be fair and consistent. So if you write the first person up for spilling a drink, everybody else to spill a drink after that, they need to be written up too. Why? Because it's discriminatory when you don't apply the same rules to everybody. That's discriminatory. It can't be based off your mood. It can't be based off, oh, I was irritated that day. And when she spilled that drink, baby, just sent me over the edge. I just told her to come on in here. I'm just going to write her up, email her back, and that's it. Baby, we'll see you in court. Be fair and be consistent. How many of us probably, let me think, I've had some great jobs and some great leaders. But how many of us have witnessed situations at work, ourselves, or either with a friend, a family member, and they were not fair and consistent. You was like, oh, you should sue them. Oh, you should call you a lawyer. That's the first thing that somebody's going to say to your teammate when you aren't fair and consistent with them. Be consistent in your disciplinary actions, no matter what. What applies to one applies to all. Period. Okay. And another note that I wrote here is a way for you to make sure that you're consistent with that is for you to make sure that you have a handbook or a code of conduct. And those documents should outline how you handle discipline. I know this sounds like a lot, but this comes with the territory of calling yourself a CEO and having a team. Your handbook should document, what does infraction number 1 look like? What does infraction number 2 look like? Because what's going to happen is employee going to get written up and they're going to say, I'm gonna look at the handbook. I can't tell you how many times I had that people coming to my office, baby. They've been and printed the whole handbook out. Like in section 4, it says this: document what those disciplinary processes look like. And if you're a small business owner, use your AI tools. It's 2024. Create a disciplinary policy for being late and for performance management, which are going to be the two biggest things that you deal with as a leader. Two big things that I've unfortunately terminated an ungodly amount of people. Like, seriously, I've terminated so many people in the course of over the years. Big two things that we've terminated people for: attendance, people late, no call, no show, and not coming to work. And then for performance, their performance is unsatisfactory. But whatever handbook you have should outline, what does satisfactory performance look like? What does satisfactory attendance look like? What does unsatisfactory performance look like? Okay. And again, it's 2024. You can use your AI tool after you get off this live tonight and have all of that typed up and saved in your Google Drive folder. Okay. All right. So third thing. So first was get familiar with employment law. You know, I told y'all to go on SHRM and sign up for their newsletter. Second thing is make sure that you're keeping your discipline consistent across the board. What applies to one teammate applies to all teammates. You may be closer to one teammate and you like her more, so she messed up and you're not going to write her up. But the next person, you know, that's just your employee. Y'all ain't close like that. You don't know her kids, you know her husband, but you write her up. You got a lawsuit on your hands. You're being discriminatory. You are being discriminatory when you favor one teammate over the other, especially for personal reasons. And as a small business owner, we might have that bad because it's only 3 of us. It's only 4 of us, right? We may get close to one employee over the others. But this is why you make sure that you have a good HR consultant in your back pocket so that you understand that you have to be fair and consistent, because if not, it's extremely dangerous to your business. And you're risking everything by trying to be a friend instead of being an employer. Okay? As an employer, you're not their friend. Sorry. Those days are over with. Okay? All right. So, third point, provide regular training. This is a big one. All of us know this. All of us experience this on our job. On the job training, ongoing training, continuous training. Have ongoing training for your teammates. A dangerous thing that you can do as a business owner is for you to brag about how somebody was able to come into your team and they needed little to no training, or how they do well with little to no training. That's dangerous territory. Very dangerous. Have regular training for your team. Why? Because you set expectations. You get everybody on the same page. Okay, you get everybody on the same page and you give everybody equal opportunity. I might come work for you and I got a master's degree, so some of this is easier for me to grasp, but you may also have an intern. I can come in and jump straight in. Intern person can't do that. Now, what was the point before that? You got to be fair and consistent. So you can't say, okay, Deb, you got a master's degree, you jump right in because you got an intern, you got training. You're not being fair and consistent, because a year from now, when I hate this job and I don't like you no more, I could be like, they didn't even train me. They didn't even provide me with no type of training. I was set up to fail. Be fair and be consistent. It is going to save your butt later. Okay? So next thing is going to be make sure that we're maintaining our documentation. This was a big one. And this was something that as an HR professional, I could get in trouble for. Make sure that if people are signing stuff with you, it's going in a file. Make sure that you have their information, name, address, phone number, emergency contact. It goes in a file. Disciplinary actions go in a file. If any type of training is completed, goes in a file. It doesn't mean that you have to do anything extravagant. We're small business owners. A lot of us have teams smaller than 10, sometimes smaller than 5. It could be a simple document that you say, hey, today we completed training on lead generation, social media management, and I provided all logins. And they simply e-sign it or acknowledge it. Something that documented that I trained you and I told you what to do. It protects the employee, yes, but more importantly, it protects you. Protect yourself above all things. Protect your business above all things. And protect your business's assets above all things. Do not risk the legacy of your business because you're cool with a teammate. Don't risk the legacy of your business because it doesn't seem important right now. Or they would never do me like that. I can't tell you how many times a manager was like, oh, that employee, they never do that. And baby, make them mad. Let their paycheck not be what they thought it was gonna be. Baby, please. They ain't gonna spare none of us. They ain't gonna spare me. They ain't gonna spare you. They ain't gonna spare nobody. They going straight to a lawyer office. Maintain your documentation. I got two more things and then I'm hopping off. The next one, the fourth one is going to be make sure that you're handling your terminations carefully. And to be honest, I could go into such deep details on all of these, but I just want to give you an overview because I think that this is my first time really diving into HR topics on my page. Okay. Handle your terminations carefully. So for one, we know that we can be held liable for wrongful terminations. Okay, you wrongfully terminated somebody. But I also want you to know that even if you legally terminated them the right way, which most states I know like are going to be, well, I won't say most, some states are going to be like employment at will. So your job can fire you for any reason at any time, but that doesn't mean that there aren't consequences for the reason that they fired you. Oh my God, I'm such an HR nerd. I can get into this so much. But the big thing here with small business owners is I want you to avoid the court of public opinion. When you're letting people go, when you're letting your VA go, when you're letting your assistant go, your social media manager go, whoever that is, I want you not only to avoid the real courts, but I want you to avoid the court of public opinion. I don't want somebody to get online and say, I worked for such and such for 4 months. This happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. It's inevitable as you grow bigger. But when you're small and in this season, also make sure that you're avoiding situations where you're giving employees ammunition to just destroy you in the court of public opinion. Okay? Don't give them ammunition to do that. Again, the legacy of your business is not worth it. Okay? So last one, and this is, so many of these are my favorite topics just because I'm truly an HR nerd. But the last one, address complaints timely and promptly. Did y'all know that there is a thing such as negligent retention? You can do negligent hiring, you can do negligent retention. I'm going to give y'all an example, and I'm going to try not to use a real world example because I have experienced this before. Let's say I work with this guy named Bob. Deb works there and Bob works there. We work at an ice cream shop. Okay. I work at the ice cream shop. Bob work at the ice cream shop. And sometimes me and Bob work together. Now, Bob is harassing me, right? He's not straight up like touching me, but his comments are inappropriate. His jokes are inappropriate. And I've expressed to the owner that he makes me uncomfortable. If the owner does not pursue any type of ramification or they don't follow those consequences and guidelines and standards code of conduct that they have outlined in their handbook, I'm going to my lawyer and we're going to claim that you're negligently retaining somebody. You're keeping somebody on your staff that's not beneficial to the business, that has broken the code of conduct, that has made offenses where they really could get fired. And I've seen this. I've seen this. And guess what? You don't get paid off your back, off your ability, off you avoiding situations. If people, especially your teammates, come to you with an issue, it doesn't matter whether or not you think it's a big deal. Because I've had people come in my office and I'm just thinking to myself, girl, this is not a big deal. I am required and obligated to address their complaint. And I'm required to do it timely and promptly. So if I tell my manager about Bob on March the 1st and it's March the 30th, that's not timely. He said, well, I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to talk to him. And you don't end up talking to him till a month later, I'm going to my lawyer office. I'm going to file me an EEOC claim. I'm being harassed, and my owner hasn't done anything about it. Or they did do something about it, but it took so long that now I got emotional distress because I had to work with him the 4 weeks where he didn't address it, and it got worse. It's not about, I'm not going to say it's not about what actually happened, but when it comes to HR issues and employment law, it's about what you can prove. Address issues, concerns, questions, and requests as fast as possible. Do it promptly. Don't make the mistake of saying that's really not a big deal. Push it off, 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 push it off. Okay? That's all I got, y'all. Trying to keep my lives under 30 minutes because of a couple of things that I'm doing with my marketing. But y'all let me know down in the comments if you're new, if you're catching a replay, if you found this was helpful. And of course, if you have any messages that you want to send me, or if you're a small business owner where you're scaling to that 7-figure mark, right? Maybe you're a franchise owner, or maybe you're building your first team and you have at least 5 employees and you need an HR consultant in your corner, make sure that you comment your email address. Okay, because I want to be able to talk to you about more of the things that I can do for you, because a lot of small business owners don't have a need for a full-time HR person. However, they need somebody like me that they can call and ask questions and to help them get on their feet. Okay. All right. So we'll be back tomorrow night. Again, tomorrow we're going to be talking about what's the difference between an employee and a contractor, right? So somebody off Upwork is not your employee. They're a contractor, right? And then we're going to be talking about how do you actually manage the staff day to day. Okay. All right, y'all. Happy Tuesday. I'll see y'all tomorrow night. Y'all already know the vibes. Make sure y'all wake up tomorrow and conquer some stuff. Good night, y'all. Bye.